It's important because you find that the Chinese-American relation, for lack of a better word, you can call it a love-hate relationship. Love relationship in the sense that America, being a global power, needs the Chinese market and therefore has to kind of find room for cooperation, because you find that American businesses, American multinational corporations, and even the American state, since Deng Xiaoping took China to a free market economy in 1978 away from Mao Zedong's communists, then it has always meant that America has been a little bit accommodative of China, although it remains politically communist. And therefore, you can say that this relationship is always torn between the politics and the economics, and it seems like the economics has always had a way of triumphing over the political, and therefore, when the Chinese president goes to the US, it is with trade more in mind than the politics or the security issues in mind. And the reason why this is bringing a lot of interest is that America as a global power also has to be a leader in terms of what you can call the ethos that should govern the international system. So they pay a lot of attention to human rights issues. They pay a lot of attention to control of the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. They have to ensure that the kind of relationship on cybersecurity, basically they see themselves as the cornerstone of world stability. And therefore, the interest is mostly because the US now is torn between the economic interests, which quite a number of her stakeholders are interested in maintaining a relationship with China, and the political consequences of the same. The other issue is that as China comes into the world stage, it is coming at a time when the global scene has changed. The global scene has changed in the sense that you don't have a clear bipolar system with an ideological confrontation that was seen in the time of the Cold War between the capitalist non-aligned treaty organization base and the Warsaw Pact socialist or communist base. So you don't have such a bipolar system in which you have a neat alignment at the global stage, but rather you have a kind of a free-for-all from what you can call the contending powers on the scene. The other issue is that the reason why the Chinese president's trip has to be taken is that it comes at a time that the global system or the Americans are faced with a number of issues. There's a lot of instability in the Middle East, starting with Syria. The Palestine question is always there. The Arab Spring just dissipated the other day. And then you have the issue which you mentioned, which is cyber insecurity, where the Chinese have been accused of engaging in cyber espionage. You have the question of the South China Sea, the activities there. So I think that the attention being given is that how does the US treat this Chinese president, who on the one hand a very important segment of the American community need on board, especially when you look at the crisis economically that faced the Shanghai Stock Exchange, and also the way other currencies have performed against the dollar, and that therefore you need some economic and financial stability with its big market, and the political security questions which it doesn't see eye to eye with the United States of America. And given also, and this can also always not be ignored, given that the US is going into elections next year, and it is President Obama of the Democratic Party who is receiving this Chinese president, what will be the Republicans spinning on this visit when it comes to the lead up to such campaigns. So I think that when you look at those generality of issues, then you find that his visit is attracting a lot of attention in terms of, has China arrived as the new global power that the US has to consider. And one has to look at that from the perspective that in Eastern Europe there is also a resurgent Russia. So it becomes quite a full plate for the US to deal with.